I'm going to look at another advantage of raster data model in terms of doing overlay analysis. So we have these two different rasters that cover the exact same area. One showing the digital elevation model, so it's essentially showing elevation change from values of negative 114 to 785, and this other raster which shows whether or not it's forest or not. So just a 1 if it is, 0 if it's not. Very simple. So what we can do is we can do a raster calculator to find out particular information. So let's say I want to find forested areas that are above 550. I'm sure we're going to probably find some in there. So I want to find the exact areas in which there's forest, but the elevation is also above 550. And so we go to something called the raster calculator to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first off start off with making a raster that shows the elevations that are above, greater than or equal to 550. So the output of that's going to be called, we'll call it 550. So that's the first one. And so this is going to create a raster in which it's either 1 or 0. 1 if it is above 550, 0 if it's not. And here's our output. We have the 1 areas, so these are all the areas. And let's go ahead and make this hollow, make it easier. Make that hollow. And so we can see these are the particular areas of the digital elevation model that are above 550. Okay, that's good. Now what we can do is we can combine, we can kind of do an analysis of both the forest grid, the one on the bottom, the green, whether or not it's forest, 1 or 0, and the Marin County for the digital elevation model, those areas that are above 550. So once again, we go back to our raster calculator tool. So I say forest grid equals 1. Always got to do parentheses, just like any Excel or any computer calculation. And we're going to do this one here in which it equals 1. And so what I just did was just did some simple math. So all that's saying is I want to find the particular areas in the forest raster that are forest. So the ones that are identified, we identified as being 1. Those that are not areas are 0, so we don't want those. Forested areas that are also forest areas that are found above 550, our elevation of 550. So our output there, we'll call this forest 550. Okay. And a new layer has been created, and so we go ahead and let's remove the 0, the null, or the areas that are not that. And so we kind of close this out, go back to our original. And so right here, we go and we zoom into this area. These are individual areas within this particular extent that are above 550 in elevation and classified as forested areas.